Hi everybody, it's Naomi Pabst here. As an intuitive and as a transformational teacher, for many years my major mission has been to help clients to live their best possible life and ideally to bring about their dreams, whatever those dreams might be, whether a dream of partnership or a career dream or some sort of achievement or overcoming a habit or a pattern or just being the best person that you can be. And what it all comes down to, for both realizing your dreams and for having your ideal love life, which are my two specialties, is the matter of self-love. It all starts from loving yourself. The first tip that I want to share is the need to simply beam the same kind of love upon yourself that you're beaming on your loved ones. I think, for instance, of how much I absolutely love my children, and the way I would just embrace them and beam upon them and smile at them and just send them such love and light and such warmth and such regard and such nurturing. And it becomes a little bit strange when you start to conceive of doing that to yourself, right? Beaming that exact same love of others, of your loved ones, onto you, right? It's a foreign, almost an awkward concept. It feels strange to target that love at ourselves. But when we do that, we have such a better chance of realizing our dreams, right? Because realizing our dreams is, so much more likely to happen if we are emanating a love of self and of others. So the love of self is the source of so many wonderful things, and it's actually difficult to cultivate. So I say, number one, beam that love on yourself, right? Love is the highest force. Love is this profound energy. It's an emotion. It's a state of being. It's the source of all things. We are love. We can just turn the volume up on our love directed towards ourselves, directed inward. We're so much better positioned to make the kinds of contributions we want to make in the world, to magnetize the kinds of experiences and opportunities that we want to bring about, to have the best possible love lives we can have, and indeed to make our dreams come true. So one of the first steps that we can take toward doing love of self is care of the self, right? If we take care of ourselves, that's a wonderful way to honor and indeed love ourselves. So for me, I love my green juice, I love my kale, I love eating super healthy, I love my Bikram yoga, I make sure that I take care of my body. As an introvert and as a thinker, it's not always my first inclination to do for my body. I prefer, frankly, to live in a dissociated state of having the body be incidental, but I make sure to take my body out for a walk or to a yoga class or I love core fusion as well, which is a bar and kind of a Pilates, a mat workout, a sort of calisthenics workout. Basically just caring for ourselves is also really important, getting enough sleep and so on, even in the face of having a superhumanly busy life. Now, the thing is in caring for ourselves, it's not just those sort of survival needs, right? What we eat, what we drink, how we sleep, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing. It's more about quality of life, right? We need to learn to care for ourselves in terms of what are our true desires and honoring those, sort of identifying what our desires are, what our let's call them quality of life needs, even though technically they're luxuries as far as survival goes. We have to sort of listen to that part of ourselves that wants to play the piano once in a while or that wants to go to a museum. I know I've been intending to go see the Bodies exhibit in the South Street Seaport for years, and at least once a month I have a nagging desire to go, and I still haven't, honored that desire. So I think just honoring those needs in the same way you would honor that of others. I think about if there was someone in my life, a beloved, a loved one in my life who was dying to see that exhibit, whether my husband, my 14-year-old daughter, they'd be there in a heartbeat. We'd be there the next weekend. So it's just, learning to really honor your own desires. And after care of the self, the next tip, the number 3 on the list of 5, is very simply to accept yourself. Underlying self-acceptance is knowing and understanding yourself. One of my favorite ways to get people started on the journey to self-knowledge is through a personality system called the Enneagram. I happen to love it. I'm right between two personality types called the 4 and the 5. One is the 4, sort of the artist, tragic, romantic, creative type, And the 5 is the intellectual observer, introverted, thinker type. And I'm right in the middle of the two, falling probably not to one side or the other even. But it's so helpful in understanding yourself in order to accept yourself, to read about your personality, which helps you really to sort of come into a more detailed sense of your programming, your sensibility, your outlook. And that's always going to differ from every single other person on the planet, but it's also going to be, framed within something recognizable. I think what's especially helpful about the Enneagram is if you read the other personality types, you not only understand yourself, but you understand all the many other personalities in your life, whether coworkers, acquaintances, the bus driver. Once you can start sort of assessing what people's personality types are, you have a far greater ability to live harmoniously with other people. I also think about things like astrology and Myers-Briggs, the Myers-Briggs system, Jungian archetypes, all the many roles we play. Those, go into, whether we're a mother, a sister, an uncle, a poet, a member of a church or a race or a nation or a tribe. All the many groups and categories that we belong to are ways of understanding ourselves and bringing it back to sort of a more spiritual identity. Looking at your numerology is very helpful in understanding yourself. Looking at your astrological chart is incredibly helpful in sort of figuring yourself out. And it's incredibly helpful to create more interpersonal harmony within yourself, intrapersonal harmony, and personal harmony between yourself and other people. So accepting yourself is a big step toward, self-love. It's a really important part of the umbrella of self-love. The next thing I want to talk about is self-importance. That's number 4, placing importance on ourselves. And that's especially difficult for women sometimes. Sometimes it feels as if we're programmed to defer or deflect our personal power. I know I have 3 kids, and it's always very tempting to, put their needs first, or my husband to defer to his needs. But it's really important to cultivate the ability to sort of honor your, honor who you are, honor what you need, hold your space, keep your boundaries. Don't be always pulled into doing things you don't want to do, or things that are draining you, or constantly doing things for others, right? Placing importance on yourself is ultimately about honoring yourself. I call it giving yourself permission to be not selfish, but selfist, right? To be self-oriented, to be mindful of yourself in any given equation, to be mindful. That's a way to show love to yourself, so that you're not constantly compromising and settling and deferring and deflecting your own needs. So placing importance on yourself is a really important way to love yourself. Finally, I'm going to talk about self-forgiveness, which is about, above all, I think, the self-criticism that we bring to the table. We're profoundly oriented to being angry at ourselves about big things and small things. It can be big things like our histories, our past, things we're ashamed of, embarrassments, humiliations, traumas, tragedies that we've undergone, that we carry those with us, and it translates into like a pain body, something that's emanating from us that's, marred somehow. And all we need to do is change our story around those things, change the story into an empowering and uplifting story, in order for our Mars, our flaws, the challenges that we've gone through, to make us magnetic rather than repellent, right? When we're carrying shame and guilt and remorse about who we are, about our life path, about our story, we're actually making ourselves repellent to others. If we can embrace the story, accept the story, surrender to whatever it is we've been through, and indeed change the story to a story of empowerment, then we're in a much better position to love ourselves and to be radiant and to shine and be really magnetic to others, to be attractive. And when we're magnetic to others, people come out of the woodwork to help us, to offer things to us, to serve our vision, to help us to meet our needs. And I'm going to be teaching a one-day intensive workshop, a full-day workshop on that on March 2nd here in Manhattan. So let me know if you're interested in attending that. I just want to say in conclusion that loving ourselves is the miracle cure that we've all been looking for. It's the starting point for having the things that you want, for being the person that you want to be, for attracting the experiences that you want to attract into your life.